because they were sitting there not claiming responsibility for it. It would have been a significantly better day one. Everyone knew exactly what happened, and they could start with a game plan going on a path to settle it or to defend
That's why you take that telematics, it just telling you you've got drivers that are speeding.
And that's the piece of it. You've got to use that telematics.
It's only as good as what you do with the information.
If it's just one, it's not a big deal. But if he's got a behavior, a history of doing that, and you're not doing anything to remediate it, if he's got one or two, and you've said, hey, he was speeding, I sent him through the Team Safe Trucking, we worked with him, he improved it, here's what he's done, and he didn't have anything else, and he's involved in an accident, you got a lot more solid ground than if you haven't done anything and he just has gotten 3 speeding tickets and then he gets involved in a speed related act.
That's why Ryan and I are working together with every insurance company, trying to work as a team to save our industry.
Yeah.
And the camera thing, and I don't know if Bree can talk about it, but they had some claims a couple weeks ago. Bree's the manager for the Atlanta branch.
So I'm Bitco. Nice to meet you, Russell. That actually just came up last week. We had 4 claims come in through our office. 2 of them were death claims. All 4 of them had cameras, whether they were side, front, or employee facing. The total between those 4 claims was only put up at $400,000. 2 of them are not at fault, but had we not had those cameras, that would have been $4 million right off the bat.
That's the best thing that ever happened.
We're gonna talk big.
That's how we don't make
reimbursing me my camera fees.
It's unfortunately
It's shared, come on.
we're getting to a point where it might become mandatory in the industry, and I had this conversation with Scott. We know that there's a shortage of qualified drivers and how much we want to keep you guys all working, but you are only as good as your worst driver, and I'm going to steal Ryan's comment from the beginning. It's to make you more defendable. If you did everything right, and we know there's bad drivers on the road, we know sometimes there's frankly just bad luck, but if we can defend you and keep you in business for another 10, 20, 30 years, if you guys are winning, then we're winning on that too.
The
So,
rear cameras too, if you don't have them, you need to think about that.
and just for a cost perspective, generally the forward facing, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, the forward facing and the employee facing cameras are about $30 per unit. There's some better ones with the side and rear for $80 per unit per
The
month.
honest thing about the facing ones, I got looking ahead and down the side, we put them on the rear. But if you got the one that's looking at your drivers, you got to have somebody there monitoring that all the time.
And the
And that
difference,
is costly.
it is.
Yeah, and
We
if
don't want the
you,
driver facing.
you don't want a driver facing camera, cause then that can't be used again.
And Ryan made another good point. If you are at fault, what we pay out in defense costs, so we're writing those checks to the lawyers too. If we've got the proof that somebody, they were on their phone, they ran through the stoplight, we can close it at a fraction of the cost instead of paying the legal he said, she said. So it's a huge-
much more.
But when you saying closing, you mean sell them.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's my,
And then that makes.
But she's saying that driver was at fault.
I understand.
The numbers lower.
But if you don't have that camera looking at that driver picking his nose or using the telephone or eating a McDonald's sandwich, nobody has that there. And that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Warner put them in all their trucks 4 years ago, and 12 to 18 months after sticking them in, they ripped them all out. They've only got the forward facing one. And there are a lot of folks that say, well, you want to improve driver behavior, you want to coach them, you want to do, maybe so, maybe not. But there's a lot additional onus stuck on the folks that have the driver facing ones to really work on that. And if we're not using the data for.
They got people on staff. That
All the time.
randomly
That's all
pick
they
the
do.
driver.
They sit there looking at
And
every one of
even
them.
Warner pulled them out, and they got plenty of folks. So
we're happy to see anything. I mean, the forward facing
You know what
is
would
better
work?
than nothing.
Electric dog collar.
Yeah,
the mirror ones that face back, those are amazing. Those show people running into the back of you, running into the side of you. Those help significantly. So not only the forward facing, the mirror, rear facing. Some of the ones off the back of the trailer that face directly rearward, That was your grading rule.
So here's the reality though, I think, which is, you know, if it's more likely than not that log trucks have cameras on them, attorneys are gonna go find other fish that don't have them, because the reality is they don't like to mess with Walmart, because Walmart's got cameras and GPS and everything else. So if they have an accident,
The plant attorneys don't wanna spend their own money.
they don't want to waste their money. So,
But in our office, in the past month, we've had 2 accidents that were denied because of the camera, but the camera never caught any collision or any impact. It just showed the position of our vehicle and what supposedly happened, and it couldn't happen, so we denied both those claims. So it doesn't have to get the crash or anything else, it just shows what we were doing.
We were the lowest hanging, our industry was the lowest hanging fruit for a long time. And, you know, we weren't as in compliance from a regulatory standpoint as most motor carriers. And I would say that, you know, that's changing. And the more that changes, the lower those guys are gonna go after the remaining lower hanging fruit.
And I've told all the insurance company people I know that you can charge whatever you want to premium wise, but if you don't quit paying claims, it ain't gonna save us. That's the end of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
make sure you sign this sheet. If you need credit, and I've got your certificates here.
And there's all kinds of free stuff.
Y'all use Scott and I as resources, even if we're not your agents, use us as resources. We both